Valdosta State ties, which is the reason why we decided to give this podcast a try.
You're tuning into the Inferno Laser Sports Show.
It was a banger.
I just love their fight. I mean, they never give up.
If you know, you know.
This is title time. We win championships or you get out of town.
Yeah, that's right. RP to Jack. He's not dead, but
No place I'd rather be. Go Blazers.
Got a full house in here, man.
Let me work on my intros real quick. This was a sweep. Let me see if this was a sweep real quick.
So much experience, so much potential, and they show up, they show out.
You can't take the heat. What makes you think you can survive the Inferno?
That was crazy.
Oh, I didn't even realize we had started here. All right, welcome everyone to the Inferno.
All right.
All right, everyone. It's a new day in Titletown, and the Inferno is back to burn up your podcast playlist. Whether you're tuning in from Titletown or abroad, welcome to the Valdosta State Sports Podcast by the students about the Blazers for Blazer Nation. Jaylan, Ansley, and Dionte and Austin here to break down all the action from these past few weeks. Look, it's one of these days. It's one of these days today, okay?
It's Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday. We're recording these on Mondays. So, yeah, if you know, you know. So, with that being said, we actually don't have a whole lot of time today, so we're going to go ahead and just jump straight into this one. So just like every episode we start off with, we're going to go over some quick rapid fire headlines. The first one we got here, VSU football back on the radar, and not just for signing day, which it was actually something I was going to mention here. Speaking of, for signing day, you can actually go to the V-State Blazers website to take a look at all the signees that Blazer football has brought on. And one thing I also noticed as well, they posted all the transfers that they brought. Yeah. They posted the transfer class as well. So a lot of good transfers, a lot of good signees from high school. One of which we brought on a Buford Wolf. Your undisputed high school national champions.
Hey,
Buford Wolves.
We also brought in a Thomas County Central Yellow Jacket.
There you go.
Sorry, I had to add that in there.
Hey, Austin. Hey, Austin. Watch out now.
Oh, that's right.
Watch out, man. I'm still having PTSD from when Thomas Central and Gainesville faced off.
When Gainesville got ran all over Mercedes-Benz.
I'll add one more thing about that kid. I've seen a lot of positive things online about Camden Godwin is his name.
Right.
He's coming from Thomas County, but he's one of those kind of like nitty gritty players. He's not he's your role player. He's not going to be the guy with the ball, but he's the guy that's always in the mix. He's always leading the way, lead blocker. Like he's the ones that get his hands dirty for sure.
That's the kind of guy. That's the kind of guy that VSU needs. That's the kind of guy that VSU needs. Kind of VSU brands their football off of. That and the air raid offense.
Yeah.
Those and definitely the air raid offense.
And I've seen, I think they brought in like 34 total players.
Yeah, so a big recruiting class here for Graham Craig in his. This is his first true recruiting class.
Yeah.
This is his first true recruiting class. So we're definitely going to see how that one pans out for the 2026 football season. But as I was talking about VSU football, their Blazer Bag Bingo event returns with a night of bingo, side games, raffles, and fun to be had, with a designer bag being the grand prize. Scheduled for April 30th, 2026. Head to vstateblazers.com/blazerbag-bingo for more information and to register for the event. Blazer Cross Country released their 2026 outdoor track schedule featuring 5 meets throughout March and April, taking place in Rome, Georgia, Tampa, and Daytona Beach, Florida, and ending in Rock Hill, South Carolina. For more information and to see their schedule, head to the V-State Blazers website or follow the cross country team at VState_XC on Instagram. Or again, as I said, check the team page on the Blazers website. And another thing I want to add here, I want to give a special congratulations to VSU Assistant Athletic Director for Communications and our main sports information director, Kit Streef, for earning the College Sports Communicators 25-year award.
Wow.
This man has been in sports information and communications for 25 years. He's been in some top-notch Division I institutions as well. So, Kit, congratulations to you for the 25-year award and honestly for helping make make this show a little bit easier in terms of getting information, because he writes the stories for several sports. He writes the post game recaps, the preview stories. So Kit is out here doing yeoman's work.
Oh yeah,
appreciate it for letting me and Austin, people like us that's in a spectator, get interviews with players and coaches after the game. So
and allowing me to go on the road and allowing me to go on the road for Blazer basketball and for allowing me to call Blazer volleyball at home. So Kit, thank you so much. Your work does not go unnoticed here on the Inferno. And one more thing I want to add here, the second annual Blazer Athletics event, Day of Giving. I accidentally gave the wrong date on the last episode, as I'm now finding out it's actually scheduled for March 4th. Where again, last year's inaugural event raised over $18,000 going to multiple needs in the athletic department. So, second annual Blazer Athletics Day of Giving, March 4th. Put that on record, March 4th. I got it right this time. I'm not going to foolishly do this again. Which actually, now I think about it, do we have an episode coming out? No, we won't have an episode out on the 4th because it's on a Wednesday, but that actually is a week. We will have an episode released on March 6th. So we might actually have an update. We might actually have an update in that and see how much money we raised. So transitioning on over to tennis for the first few matches of the season, the men's team. I knew it had to happen eventually. Had to happen. You can't be undefeated forever.
Yep.
You can't be undefeated forever, as the men, number 2 in the nation, took their first loss since March 30th of 2024. This team went nearly 2 years without an L. So, wow. But
elite.
I also want to put a bit of an asterisk on that, because as I said at the top of this, as I said during the intro, it's kind of a sickness going around Valdosta right now. We were down 2 players due to illness. But before I talk about the Embry-Riddle game, I'm going to talk about the Middle Georgia game, where the men won 5-2, despite dropping the doubles point to the Knights 2-1. But then VSU said, all right, fine. You got 1 point. I'll take 5 of the next 6, where Jerome Iaconi, Emile Deporte, Julian Tato, Pietro Cassiola was the one who clinched the win, and then Philip Boss won each of their singles matches, again winning 5 out of 6, securing the 5-2 win. Now, against Embry-Riddle, 2-5 was the loss. Again, the first loss since March 30th, without 2 players due to illness. The Eagles won all 3 doubles matches to secure that doubles point, and then, funny enough, in the singles matches, former ERU Eagle, Wilson Igbinovia won one of VSU's 2 singles matches, with Tato winning his match against number 25 in the nation, Mark Mayle, but only after Embry-Riddle won their 3rd singles match, kind of making it mute. So the Eagles are the first team to upset VSU this season. And mind you, Embry-Riddle is also number 15 in the nation as well. So this was a top 25 matchup in the Southeast regardless. Transitioning on over to the women's side against the number 2 in the nation, Nova Southeastern Sharks. They dropped that match 2-5. VSU won the doubles points 2 matches to 1, but then Nova Southeastern wins 4 of the 6 singles matches, but not until VSU's Ina Arnautovic and Charlie Fay won both their matches to put VSU up 3-0. But then Nova made the reverse sweep by winning 4 straight singles. Secure by winning 4 straight singles. So, oof. Actually, wait. I think I might have messed this up, because I wrote here. Yeah, it was 2-5, or maybe VSU went up 2-0. Then okay. So Nova won 5 straight, while VSU only won 2 points. So a bit of a rough one there. But again, number 2 team in the nation. And then the game against Embry-Riddle, VSU won all 3 doubles matches to secure the doubles point. And Embry-Riddle won the first 2 singles matches, taking a 2-1 lead. I also apologize for my mispronunciation of these names. I do not have a guide with me. So Milica Prokic and Ivana Castillo-Hurtado won both of their matches in the 2nd and 3rd sets, respectively, to make it 3-2 VSU. And then Carmel Vile and Lena Bex lost both of their matches in 3 sets, sealing the Embry-Riddle win. 3-4 against Embry-Riddle. They were number 7 in the nation. So these games are being kept rather close on the women's side. So some really good early tests here for this women's side. They won against Middle Georgia, but unfortunately dropped these games against Nova and Embry-Riddle. Again, 2 top 10 teams in the nation. And actually, during the time we're recording this, both men's and women's teams are down in, I believe, Lakeland, Florida, to face off against Florida Southern. Men are facing number 14 Florida Southern, and the women are facing number 11 Florida Southern. And their next games after that will be at Coastal Georgia on February 28th at 2 p.m.
One more thing I'd like to add to Rapid Fire is the golf team is currently playing in the 2026 St. Leo Invitational at St. Leo.
Nice.
In Dade City. They are currently... believe 7th place at 6 under. There is the team that's in number 1 is Florida Southern, and they are currently 25 under as a team.
My goodness.
I do not know how that's possible, but that's insane. They're ranked 4th in the nation, so it makes sense. But
it's kind of odd how golf and tennis are so good here down the southeast.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Oh, I know. It's insane.
Like that's something I remember I was talking with Sawyer a lot with last year about just how crazy good tennis and golf for some reason is here in the southeast, which I mean to a degree it kind of makes sense because Florida. Yeah, it kind of makes sense because Florida and then parts of Georgia and parts of Georgia
Augusta
as well.
Down here,
yeah,
in
we
Georgia.
do have Augusta as well. Yeah. But honestly, I didn't really think Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee. This area was really good for these sports.
Yeah.
But they're some of the most competitive regions. They're some of the most competitive regions for golf and tennis. And VSU just happens to be right in the middle of it all. Yeah, just happen to be right in the middle of it all with all the Sunshine State teams and even our own conference. It's insane. Oh, and also cross country as well for some reason. I don't know. That's kind of hard for me to think about. Is like cross country is so competitive here in the southeast.
Oh yeah.
Again, that's probably more due to weather because honestly, who would want to go run cross country in the Midwest? In the Midwest or in the Northeast? I imagine that is oof. That's why they have lacrosse and hockey. That's why they have lacrosse and hockey up there. Cause I don't know how well cross country fares in the Northeast. I would love to be proven wrong though. If anyone out there wants to prove me wrong, I would gladly love to be proven wrong about that. So the first thing we're going to cover here is Lady Blazer basketball. And I got to say, we're in a bit of a pressure cooker situation. I think that's the best way. I think that's one of the, I'm not going to say the nicer ways I can describe it. That's a bit disingenuous. That sounds like I'm just being mean. But no, this is literally a pressure cooker situation for these Lady Blazers. They've won 4 of their last 5 games against West Florida, Trevecca, Lee, and Mississippi College. Yay, the Lady Blazers won another road game. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Which required overtime. We're going to get to that in a second. I'm still mad I didn't get to go on that trip because I was sick. There's a sickness going around Valdosta right now. The flu, cold, COVID, whatever. I don't know if I can say COVID on YouTube without being without getting this episode demonetized. Actually, no, I'm kidding. We don't monetize this. This show does not get monetized. I don't know what I'm talking about there. But going over these last couple games really quickly, one of the ones I really want to talk about here, Trevecca Nazarene and Rebecca Souverain. She made a statement. She had her statement game with a career performance, 14 points and 10 rebounds, her first career double-double, plus a block and a steal, notching her as GSC Freshman of the Week. And here's the thing. This is a player, Becky Souverain, we all see her play. She's good. She is a good forward. However, I think finishing was one of the biggest concerns with her. Especially finishing around the rim. She's a bit of a thinner framed forward, so physicality might not always be there compared to someone like Rayan Eccleston or Amaya Broadus. So finishing was a bit of a sore point for Souverain sometimes in a couple of her performances, but against Trevecca, she left no doubts. She left no doubts in that one. She absolutely stepped up against the Trojans and handled one of the best forwards in the GSC, and Cheyenne Trotter made her almost a non-factor in that game. Now, mind you, Trotter's the best rebounder in the conference. She's also one of the best point scorers, and she kind of killed us a lot when we played them in Nashville. But Souverain Sovereign, she locked it down. She locked it down in the paint. And one more thing I want to know about Becky, one of her best qualities is her intensity. It's her intensity and her energy when she's on the court. Whether it's her making the play, she's getting in her opponent's faces, she's yelling at them, she's screaming. She just radiates so much hype woman energy. It's amazing. Even though sometimes it gets her in trouble, sometimes it might get her in trouble with a tech. I mean, again, whether it's her making the plays or it's her teammates making the plays, she's slapping the floor,
Right.
she's grabbing her teammates, she's hugging them, she's picking Casey Demps off the ground.
That's a player I want on my team.
Yes,
Tone setter.
She radiates so much energy, and she, again, the ultimate hype woman, and absolutely deserving of GSC Freshman of the Week. Now, in this most recent road trip against Delta State and Mississippi College, against Delta State, inconsistency is what did the Lady Blazers in. And I'll just sum it up with this. VSU and Delta State kept it close. They were close through the first three quarters, maybe
low scoring game.
Yeah, low scoring game, razor thin margins. But the biggest thing that killed us, the final 2 minutes and 40 seconds of the fourth quarter. Now, mind you, 2 minutes and 40 seconds, 160 seconds. The Lady Blazers went without scoring a point. They went 0 for 12 in that stretch, while Delta State outscored the Lady Blazers 22-6. Jesus. That's just oof. Now, I will give grace here because Delta State is currently ranked number 2 in the conference. They're the second best team behind Huntsville. So you could almost kind of look at that as, VSU was near an upset.
Yeah.
VSU was near upsetting one of the better teams in the conference, someone who they beat previously at home. But, Delta's got everything to play for. Valdosta State's got everything to play for. I mean, Delta's just not going to sit there and just let things go on by. So
I do want to say also, since it was a low scoring game, like, you're right. They weren't the best at scoring, right? But they had to show up defensively, and I mean, with it being a low scoring game, they obviously did. I do want to say,
through the first three quarters, the defensive effort was definitely there and matching Delta State point for point on offense. But then that fourth quarter hit, man. That's something that Coach Chan has harped on with this team for a while, is being able to play consistent, be able to play 40 minutes. You need to be able to play 40 minutes, whether your slump was in the second quarter, the third quarter, or the fourth quarter. If you're not playing a full 40 minutes, you're not going to get very far. So it did kind of doom Valdosta State against Delta State, but against Mississippi College, sometimes you don't need all 40 minutes. You need 45 minutes to win. In which this case, Aaron Whalen. Another clutch moment for E-Money. There's a reason why she earned that name. There's a reason why she's got the nickname E-Money. 2.3 seconds left on the clock in regulation. VSU down 72-70. And I can almost kind of drop the play. I can almost drop the play instantly in my head. I'm going to try to describe it here. So it's an inbound to Valdosta State in front of their own bench. So Ari Hicks has the basketball next to the Blazers bench. There's Aaron Whalen lined up at the point. Whalen's lined up at the point, and at around the 2 or 3 second mark in the count, she slips down court along the right side of the lane to this space, getting a couple off-ball screens to find some space down under the basket. Hicks gets it to Whalen in the confusion because the nearest Mississippi College defender was on the opposite side of the paint. So they couldn't get, no other Mississippi College player who was on the weak side knew that ball was going there. So Whalen gets the ball, and those two defenders finally realize, oh wait, Whalen's got the ball. She's right behind us. So they turn around and immediately try to swarm her. Whalen takes a step from under the right side of the basket to the left side of the basket, spins, posts, puts it up, lays it in, tied at 72 to end regulation. And then at the end of it, they went in overtime. They ran away with it 84-78 against Mississippi College. And that is a huge win there, despite, third quarter syndrome striking again, as Mississippi College outscored VSU 15-7 in the third. And again, as I said, second road win this season. And VSU now officially joins the 10 conference win squad, tied with West Florida. And of course, just because it's tradition at this point, Whalen with another double-double, her 11th of the year.
I want to add in, I think I told you about this, Jason, or Jaylan, sorry. Not Jason.
Jason's actually my best friend's name.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
That's funny, yeah.
Mr. Whalen came up to me the other day and he was like, Ansley, I just wanted to say thank you. Like, you had such kind words to say about Aaron. I'm like, yeah, well, it's awesome. Like, I told him how I played here, like how I really didn't get to mesh with the basketball girls. Like, it was just kind of us in volleyball.
Right.
And I think that it says a lot and it shows a lot that her dad is listening to us and what Jaylan has to put on for all of us to hear. So you're listening now. Neither of you guys can make fun of me because I'm actually here this time.
Yes.
And I don't want to hear anything else about meetings.
Now, if it happens again, I will.
And it probably will. Okay. And it probably will. But no, we do appreciate it. And I think it's awesome. I think that nonetheless, Erin, it's really hard for me to separate how I see her outside of the court and then how it translates to her playing. And and it's hard for me to make that separation because it's just naturally there, you know?
Yeah. Especially for you as an athlete, too.
Exactly. And she's a team player. And I know I have a lot of words to say about her. She's usually the one that I'm like, Erin. Yeah. So, but it really is nice to see. And I think, if I'm not wrong, she's averaging, what is it, like 14.3 points per game, something like that.
So honestly,
she's the leader in probably a lot of categories.
Yeah,
but
if that's what it was, honestly, I would not be surprised. Again, 11 double-doubles on the year for Erin Whalen. I think that actually counts for half of her games.
Yep.
Really?
I think she's averaging 14 and 9, I think.
Okay, I knew it was something, but
14 and 9 for E-Money Whalen. But like you mentioned before, I mean, this team isn't just Erin Whalen.
Yeah.
You got Ari Hicks, one of the slickest ball handlers in the GSC. Kamaya Pryor slashing across the baselines. She'll drive. She'll go up for tough layups. Casey Demps, a buzzard on defense. Really slick pass. Underrated passer. Casey.
Oh yeah,
Casey Demps, underrated passer in my opinion. Sade Rumpf, 3-point specialist.
And
Becky.
I was going to say something about her.
What?
You mentioned Becky earlier.
Yeah.
You know, both her and Sade, back-to-back GSC Freshman of the Week.
That's right. They were back-to-back GSC Freshman of the Week.
There you go.
Putting the league on notice. Which makes it honestly even better that, you know, if we can get this core to stick around for next year, they're gonna be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The conference is gonna have a legitimate problem on their hands. Erin in her senior season. Yeah, Erin in her senior year. You bring back Alina Martin, Sapalak. Demps, Pryor, Rumpf, Souverain, Eccleston,
Kendall Dykstra.
Yeah, girls that will make a difference.
Like, everybody here can make a difference. Everybody here can 120% make a difference on this court. So this will now bring us to the main focus of discussion for this women's basketball section. Looking at the GSC standings, only one team has clinched a spot in the GSC tournament, and that is Alabama Huntsville. They're 18-1, 23-4 overall, so not really surprised there. Mm-hmm. In second place is Delta State, 13-6, which the disparity between first and second place, that's a lot. That's a lot there. But then you have Union at 12-6, Trevecca at 12-6, Lee at 11-7, and then West Florida and VSU are tied at 10-8, with West Alabama at the number 8 spot with a 9-10 record, and Mississippi College 8-11. So we still have our group of 9. We still have a group of 9 that are going to make the playoffs. But again, only 8 teams can make it in. One is going to be left out, and it's going to be either Mississippi College, West Alabama, Valdosta State, or West Florida. Or if Lee takes the biggest fumble of their lives and somehow blows it, which I don't think they will, but it's always possible. But the main thing I want to talk about here is how the situation, this, at least from what I saw last year, this feels like deja vu. This honestly feels like deja vu from last year. Valdosta State, I mean, this is a good and a tough and gritty team, but they could really find themselves if they, and the best way I said it is, if they screw around too much, they will miss the tournament. Mm-hmm. But that win over Mississippi College, getting us a 2-game gap from the Choctaws, absolutely helps. It helps a ton. Now, our remaining opponents as of February 16th, the day of recording, we have Union and Christian Brothers at home. Now, mind you, we lost to Union earlier in the season, 78-72. On the road, This is one of the better teams in the GSC right now. Yep. This Union team made the Final Four last year, and we took them to task on their court. Came back from down 16 and only lost by 6 against Union. Now they're coming here. They're coming to Valdosta, where VSU has the second best home record in the GSC. We're 11-3 at the complex. Tied with us is Lee, and leading the way is Huntsville. Huntsville's perfect 12-0. Lee and VSU are, VSU is 11-3. Lee is 11-2. And then we have Auburn, Montgomery, and Montevallo on the road. 3 of those teams I just mentioned are out of playoff contention. Montevallo, Montgomery, and Christian Brothers are all out of playoff contention. So we have a super favorable schedule coming up. But execution is going to be the factor here. So my question for the panel here is, what do the Lady Blazers need to do to secure their spot in this year's tournament? My take on this one, I'm going to refer back to last season against Trevecca. Won in a low-scoring game. It was like 49-40 up in Nashville. And one of the biggest notes that I took away from that game was something Coach Chan said during practice the day before, where she said she needs shooters to shoot, post players to post, defenders defend, ball handlers handle, slashers make their cuts. So I think this, I wrote reversion on here. That's a bit misleading, but I think just that refocused for players to just play their role will be the thing that keeps the Lady Blazers on track for everybody to do your part. Do your part, do the thing you do well, and do it consistently. We don't need you to try to, we don't need players to try and do stuff that they're not as comfortable with, because we need everybody at their best.
Yeah.
So that's my take. That's my take on that. So everyone play your role and play it well.
I agree with that. I think you trust your preparation, you play your brand of basketball, and everything falls in the line for you most of the time. I mean, you can't go wrong with, like you said, doing the right thing over and over and over again. You practice it every day, so you might as well. It's just like second nature. Second you go on the court, just keep doing the same things you're doing. Control what you can control. And that's all you can do.
You said it best, Jaylan. I mean, execution is critical. I feel like if you really play your role, do the pick and roll, that's what they're best at.
Yeah. The pick and roll offense is really good.
Yep. Defend well. Against Trevecca, I think Trevecca was only like 4-21 from 3. That's
the 3-point defense is definitely a bright spot here for this Lady Blazer team.
I know the Lady Blazers, they do struggle rebounding the ball, especially when it comes to defensive rebounds, because I've seen a lot of teams, they get a lot of offensive rebounds on us.
Yep.
But play their role, just defend well, play hard, play physical.
Yeah.
I think we can win. Like you said, this schedule is very favorable.
Super favorable.
It's not guaranteed as well.
Yeah.
So
one of these teams is going to, or any one of these teams is going to want to play spoiler. They're looking to spoil somebody's
That's
day.
what I'm saying. Like, I think, like, don't count them out. I mean, like you said, though, like, they're not in the contention for GSC. Out. But, like, these teams, these are usually when these teams want to, like, step up and be like, this is how we play. Like, don't count us out, whoever said that. But my take on it is, I think that it's super important to just kind of, like, realize that I think both of the teams really found their chemistry, unfortunately, in the middle of the season. And I'm not even just going to say that's basketball. That is every single VSU sport this year. I don't know. I don't know what's in the air or what's going on here.
Well, clearly there's a virus in the air because everyone's getting sick.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But like, there's no way that's affecting everyone's playing ability. No, I think that it also just comes into fact that, like, obviously we've got a lot of transfers. We've got a lot of new freshmen, young faces. I think it's just trusting the fact that now they've got to feel comfortable where they're at. Right. They're like, we're making moves. We're bringing back W's on the road, which is not something we're used to, I think.
Yep.
And it's now like, okay, now we're kind of in our grit. Now we're in our mode. Like, let's keep it going.
Absolutely. And another thing I want to kind of touch on here. VSU currently, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in the conference right now. So if the season ends today, tournament is set, we would face Delta State. We would face Delta State. Now the thing is, one more thing I want to add here before we move on. So it's kind of known at this point that we're likely not going to host because we'd have to be in the top 4 seeds to host. I don't really see that being likely. So if we most likely have to go on the road, among these top 4 teams that will likely host, if the season ended today, Huntsville, Delta, Union, and Trevecca. Who would you guys want this Lady Blazer team to face in the first round? I would honestly want either Trevecca or Delta. I would either want Trevecca or Delta.
I want Union.
You want that rematch? You want that rematch against Union?
I do.
I think I want either Union or Trevecca. I'm definitely scared for Delta. And of course,
and think about it. They would have to travel to Delta.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
that's a
I don't know if I
long
want to do
road
that.
trip. In our meeting this morning, and this morning in our admin meeting, we were like, I was talking to Kit. I was like, did this just change? He's like, yep. He's like, I'm gonna keep my mouth closed before I get fired.
We're gonna talk more about that, about the hosting situation at the end of this episode. Be sure to stay tuned for that. But now as you mentioned that we could be traveling to Delta State for one single game, give me Trevecca. Give me Trevecca.
Which Trevecca's still a haul, man.
Trevecca's still an 8-hour drive. The closest team out of them is actually Trevecca.
Is it? I thought it was Lee.
Well, no, Lee is the closest, but that's only if Lee jumps up to the 4 spot.
Okay.
Yeah, if Lee jumps up to 4, I'd want to take them on.
Yeah.
But of course for all that to happen, VSU has to clinch a spot in the tournament, which is going to transfer on over to the men's team. Speaking of clinching a spot in the GSC tournament, ladies and gentlemen, your men's Blazers basketball team are back in the GSC tournament. Their 29th overall appearances. I'm trying to get my timer to work. Screw it. I'll figure that out later. But 5 in a row, 5 straight dubs, winning 10 of their last 12. Took down West Florida 103-100 in overtime. Lee 79-73. Trevecca 113-104 in overtime. Delta State 112-103 in overtime. And Mississippi College 89-80. Their second 5-game win streak this season, in which that clinched VSU in their 29th appearance in the GSC tournament. They're now only a game and a half back of Alabama Huntsville for 4th. So hosting is in our sights. It is absolutely on our sights. We could be playing a home quarterfinal game and potentially a semifinal game of the GSC tournament right here in Valdosta at the complex. So, but the other things I want to talk about here as well, Trevecca lost to Lee on Saturday now sits 1 game back behind the Blazers, evening series of Mississippi College. So that's another interesting thing to note here. But one of the big things I want to talk about, last episode, we said specifically about how the offense has taken a massive hit in production in return for better defense. They played 2 of their best defensive games against West Alabama and Alabama Huntsville, but their offense just could not match. The offense could not match. However, these last 5 games, we went back to our regular ways, went back to scoring over 100 points a game, but also having the defense that comes with it. So we went back to the philosophy of, to win, we're going to score more than you. We're just going to score more points than you. It almost screwed us over against West Florida, but that's what we have overtime for. And honestly, thank goodness that game went to OT. Same with Trevecca, honestly, because it can come down to one play.
Yeah. It can.
I've realized that a lot this year.
Yeah. Things can just
you've
go
got
down
to separate yourself.
Yep. But this team is definitely peaking at the right time right now.
They are. Like I said.
Yeah.
They are peaking at the best time they could. Again, winning 10 of their last 12 games, winners of 5 straight, about to play a rather favorable schedule again. As I mentioned with the women's team, they have Union Christian Brothers and Auburn Montgomery and Montevallo. Montevallo is one of the best teams right now, but we've beaten Montevallo.
The thing is we have a better chance of hosting.
We do. We have a significantly.
So I'm excited for that.
We have a significantly better chance for hosting. But before we get to the conference standings, that game against Trevecca, I gotta say this: if that isn't conference game of the year.
Yes.
I might have a conniption. That game, I said the one against West Florida was pure cinema. No, the one against Trevecca
we called it cinema. Yep.
is that if the game against West Florida was cinema, then the game against Trevecca is a blockbuster. That was a blockbuster movie. That is a box office giant.
And to put the icing on the cake, it was Coach Helfer's 400th win.
400th victory at Valdosta State.
Yep.
He now has 402 at the time of this recording after beating Delta and Mississippi College. He's got 402.
Only 34 wins from tying the current record.
Yeah, that's crazy.
34 from tying.
I do want to just chime in. I got to interview him after that game, and I think it's pretty neat to hear a coach say that should be a team award. He's like, it was kind of funny. I mean, I might need to send you my interview. You might laugh at it because he's like, I haven't been on the floor, not for 1 point. And I'm like, huh? Because I'm like, you are.
That was the first thing. He said. He said, I didn't score a single point.
I know. So it was funny, but it's just really neat to hear someone who obviously that's something to celebrate, right? But
yeah,
I mean, it just kind of tells the kind of coach that he is. Let's also congratulate Coach, 400th win.
Yeah.
How awesome is that to experience that here tonight?
It's sometimes you look at those things and you kind of brush them off, and the only thing I'm going to say is I haven't scored a point in 400 wins, not 1 point. And if you don't have good players, you're not winning. And I've been very blessed to have good players, here at Valdosta State for multiple years. Had great assistants. That's kind of what leads to that. That should be a team award, not a coaching award.
And that says a lot about you.
I appreciate it, but it is true. I don't remember. I don't even think I've been on the floor, not
really?
for 1 second of playing.
Oh, I'm like,
it's always the players. Yeah, I know. You're like, well, Mike,
I'm like,
you're out
wait.
here arguing. No, just for the players. It's just about the players.
He won 400. Unbelievable.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Coach, so much.
Right,
we'll see you next
okay.
time.
All right, we'll see.
Yeah, Coach Helfer. He is a man of the players.
Yeah.
He is a player's coach. He is willing to give all the credit in the world to the guys that come through this program. But Dionte, remember what I said during the live stream? I said he didn't score a single one of those points.
Yep.
But what he's done is that he has led all these great players who have come through this program through his 21 years here. He has coached some fantastic players through this program in recent history. One of the most recently an All-American of itself, Carlos Hart, who went up to Division I. Braxton Williams, Bo Justice, Blake
And
Justice.
what's crazy
the list goes on.
is they still he told me he looks at them as like sons. He still keeps in contact with all of them.
Yeah.
Knows all of their background, and wants to stay in contact with them, wants to make sure everything's going good for them. So like I said, that just goes back to the kind of person he is.
Yeah, he's got 402 wins, and even though he'll say he didn't score a single point in any one of those, you're the lead czar, man. You led these men.
And
you led these men.
I remember last episode, we were talking about who we think should be in the Blazers Hall of Fame. I most definitely think he cemented himself to be in the Blazers Hall of Fame, especially
or at least to have something here named after him, in my opinion.
Especially if he becomes first in all-time wins as a Blazers coach.
If he does become number one, which the record right now is 436. The record was 436. I had the coach's name written down. I don't want to. James Dominy. Coach James Dominy, his record is 436 and 343 in 29 seasons. Coach Helfer is in his 21st season. He cracked 402.
He's on the road.
He's on his way. Really, I don't think he'll need 8 more seasons.
Nope.
No.
Actually, nope. I'm going to stop myself there. That's a jinx. Nope, that is a jinx. I'm going to say. So I'm going to shut my mouth. I will not finish that sentence. You will not get the rest of that sentence out of me. Nope. No way. So taking a look at the conference standings here, that was an awkward transition. I'm good at what I do. So going back to the conference standings here, we have 6 teams that have clinched spots in the tournament. West Alabama, and they've also clinched, home first round. They've clinched home for the first round. Montevallo, West Florida, Huntsville, Valdosta State, Trevecca, all clinched, and also correlating to the fact they all have 10 or more conference wins. But then you have this group of teams that are still in the mix. You have Lee, you have Mississippi College, you have Delta State and Union. They're all a game back from each other. Lee is 8-10. Mississippi College is 7-12. Delta State 6-13. Union's 5-13. But here's probably the biggest surprise. AUM and Christian Brothers are tied 3-15. So there realistically exists a chance for either Christian Brothers or AUM to sneak in as the 8th seed. There is a chance.
Oh my gosh!
I cannot remember for the life of me where this came from. The movie, the TV shows came from. It's like, so you're telling me there's a chance?
Oh, Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. Thank you. Yes. I imagine those teams are looking. It's like, so you tell me there's a chance? Because again, they're both 3-15. And then you have Union and Delta State. They're 5-13 and 6-13 respectively. If AUM and Christian Brothers go on an insane 4-game win streak run, and obviously the teams above them have to collapse as a result.
Right.
I mean, but I'm not holding my breath. I'm not holding my breath for them.
This men's team can really win out.
It is possible. It is possible. And that's something, Ansley, I think I remember I talked with you about after the Trevecca game. Mm-hmm. I said, honestly, any one of these 8 teams that make the conference tournament, I think legitimately have a shot, have a case to be in the national tournament, to be in the South region. Any one of these 8 teams. Now, mind you, the South region is made of the SIAC, the Sunshine State Conference, the SIAC, the GSC, and I believe the SAC as well. The South Atlantic Conference. So there's 4 conferences vying for spots in the South region part of the NCAA tournament. I think we could see either 3 or 4 GSC teams.
I think so too.
In this one, because again, this conference is nutty.
It is.
And anyone can beat anybody. It's chaos.
Strength of schedule is definitely, I think, in our favor too.
Mm-hmm. I don't think
our conference in general.
I don't think nobody wants to see this team in March. They don't.
Yeah, I think we're only growing, man.
And we talked about how the offense was struggling last episode.
Right.
They scored over 100 points in 10 games.
Yep, 10 times this season. Doesn't that remind you of last year? It sure reminds me of last year and all those games I call. Man, those 100-point games.
They're exciting.
Those 100-point games are exciting, but defense has also got to step
that's
up.
the hard part, and that's what he said since game 1. He's like, the biggest challenge is balancing both. He's like, we can excel at one, and then he's like, we're mediocre at the other one.
Yep.
At the other half.
And these last 5 wins, they haven't been like dominating or anything. They won by 10 points or less, but
10 or fewer points.
They've been grown man wins.
Yeah.
Grown man wins. Which I got to give it up to Drew Mills and Blaze Wallace. This duo of forwards is shaping up to be one of the best forward duos in the Gulf South Conference. Yeah. I listed a couple here that as I was doing my research here, we're talking about. I think they're on the same level as Derek Moore and Jaylan Curry, on the same level as Terrence Ringo Jr. and Will Lovings Watts from Union. Gray and Vaughn, Tim Vaughn, Zach Gray and Tim Vaughn from Lee. I honestly think Mills and Wallace is on the same level as them.
I think they might be the best.
Yeah.
Like this is one of the
Drew's scary, man. I'm not wanting to go against him. Every time he has the ball, he scores.
Yeah.
Every single time.
And Blaze is just a bully under the basket.
Yes, he is.
He's so gritty. He's so gritty.
He gets boards.
He gets boards. He may not score the first one, but he will grab that board and go up for it again. Like if you're under the basket and you have to face Blaze Wallace, you're not going to have an easy time. Get ready to battle down there. And also Samarian Bond as well, kind of switching over from forward to guard. He's been playing more guard recently, which honestly I think kind of suits him a little more to play that 3 guard, to play that small forward type.
He's annoying on the court too.
Yeah, he is.
He's all over the place in the best way.
I worry sometimes that he's going to hurt himself.
True.
But that's only because of how hard he plays.
He works. Yeah. He works so hard.
He works so hard. He is a hustler that I legitimately worry sometimes he's going to hurt himself.
Yeah.
Like that. That's a quality sometimes. That's a quality you don't often hear, where like you worry that a player is going to hurt themselves because they're playing so hard,
right? Yeah.
Not because like they're not playing hard enough or they're being lazy. No, he's playing so hard and so committed to the bit, that that again, I worry he's going to hurt himself.
I know.
But you also got to talk about the guards surrounding him. Peter McKee.
My favorite player. I love watching him.
Pete McKee.
He is a silent killer.
Many times.
He's a silent killer. Like coaches told me, he's like, that's who I usually do my post game interviews about. I'm like, Peter showing up again in tonight's game, and he's like, and Ansley, he's like, he is a quiet guy, guys. He does not talk.
He rocks it.
Like, but on the court, he does everything he needs to do. So that I have a lot of pride for that kid because he goes out, he loves the game. He loves the game.
33 in that Trevecca?
Yep, 33 against Trevecca. Dude was hooping. He was hooping. And so was Malik Leach. I gotta give my boy Malik, Atlanta born and raised. Man, he has his moments. When he's on a run, if he's on a tear, he's nigh unstoppable.
Yeah, you're not stopping him.
Like he can go on like a 10, 12 point run, and every basket he makes gets tougher and tougher. And mind you, this man is 6 foot. This is a 6 foot guard that's running all over the court. He's making mid-range shots. He's spinning into layups, taking fadeaways. Dude, when he's on a run,
shaky for sure.
When he's on a run, he's just going. You can't stop him. You just gotta let it happen.
That's what I'm saying. Like his size allows him to be very cheeky, and it's hard to stop a cheeky player like that.
Yep. And then you got Lucas Brown Jr. He's at the corner. If that man Lucas is in a corner and he gets the ball,
yep.
I mean, what else is there to say? Dude's a shooter. Dude's a shooter. We have a team full of ballers. We have a team full of hoopers.
We could talk about, Drew and Blaze, but we can talk about the next 6 too.
Exactly. Everybody gotta talk. Everybody gotta talk here because everybody contributes. Again, as I said during the women's section, everyone's gotta contribute in their own way.
Right.
Yeah. Now whether that's making steals or making that extra pass for the assist, getting offensive boards, it doesn't always have to be scoring, but everybody makes an impact.
Doing your part.
Which only reminds me, MJ, I wish you a speedy recovery, man. I think he played a little bit against Mississippi College, but the injury he faced against Delta, that was scary. I actually watched that. I watched the game against Delta, and the way MJ went down, that was scary, dude. I'm sincerely hoping the speediest recovery for you, man, because MJ also as well. He's a defender. He's a defender. Like he's out there, he's getting steals, he's making passes, dishing assists,
shooting threes too. He's a shooter.
So MJ, man, I'm wishing the best recovery for you, man. So one more thing I'm going to say before we wrap up this section, as we ended the women's section, I'm going to do the same for the men's section here. So Valdosta State is currently 5th. If the season ended today and the tournament bracket was set, we would face Huntsville. We would face Huntsville in the first round. We play them at Huntsville. Now the thing is, what do you guys think would be the best case scenario for Valdosta State to end the year? I honestly think hosting the first round.
Yep.
It's hosting the first round against either. Well, honestly, I don't really think it matters. But I don't really think it matters. I'll take on anybody.
I think so
but
too.
But hosting the first round is absolutely the ceiling this team can reach.
Right.
And for that playoff game, even though it's on a Monday, which
I don't think that's stopping anyone.
No, I don't think that should stop anybody.
I'll be there.
we all gonna be there. So
I'm missing class. Wait a minute. Sorry.
Professors, if you are listening to this, no, we won't. We're going to be good students.
Yeah,
we're here for our education.
I didn't say that.
You didn't say. Wait, what are you talking about?
Nothing.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay.
Hey, I only have one class on Mondays, so.
Yeah. Is it during the time?
No, the game doesn't start till like 6. The game doesn't start till like 6. So my class is
my class starts at 6:30. I can go for 30 minutes.
That would be good. We'll be good. We got basketball to watch. We got good basketball to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
So the remaining schedule, we got a home series against Christian Brothers and Union. I forgot to mention this during the women's side, but the games are the same. So we have this last home series against Christian Brothers, which is our Play for K and Pink Out game. So Blazer Nation, show out in your pink. I know we're red and black, but pink and black. You gotta do pink and black for this one. And then we have Union on Saturday for Senior Day. I found out recently that I'm actually not working camera that game. So
yay, good.
That's Interesting that I'm not working on senior day. Kind of fun. And then we have the final road series against Auburn Montgomery and Montevallo on a Wednesday and Friday for some reason next week. I don't know.
We don't make those rules.
We don't make the schedules. Whoever made the schedules this year clearly hates my guts. Clearly hates my guts for some reason. I don't know what I did. And then we have the GSC tournament beginning on Monday, March 2nd. Semifinals are on March 5th with the championship on March 8th. Man, if there's any time for VSU to go on a revenge run for last year, man, this is it. This is absolutely the moment. So just one more thing before we wrap up here. You're tuning in to the Valdosta State Sports Podcast by the students about the Blazers for Blazer Nation. We'll be right back in a moment.
Listen, man, there's only one thing you must understand about us, man. If you can't take the heat, what makes you think you can survive the Inferno?
Be sure to tune into the Inferno every other Friday at 10 a.m. on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Audacity. Also, be on the lookout for any extra members by following our Instagram and checking out our website. You're listening to the Valdosta State Sports Podcast by the students about the Blazers for Blazer Nation.
So now we're going to turn things on over to baseball. We got a couple games here to talk about, 2 series to talk about. And for baseball, a bit of a rough start we have here so far. 3-7 in their first 10 games, dropping back-to-back home series against the Florida Tech Panthers, 1-2 in a non-conference series, and then against Union, 1-2. And one of the things I wrote here that's kind of just a general trend that I'm noticing here is that VSU can win close games, evidenced by, winning 5-4 against Florida Tech in 10 innings, and then winning 9-8 against Union in 10 innings. But once things start to get away from the Blazers' reach, it's like they just keep going down the hill. Yeah. They just keep rolling down the mountain. They snowball away.
Isn't that called the snowball effect?
Yes, it is. Okay, look. Get off my case. I didn't do it. I did nothing to deserve this. I did nothing to deserve that. So we're going to talk about this first series against Florida Tech where they lost 1-2, in which this first game, the literal definition of a bullpen game when you use a pitcher every single inning. You use a pitcher every single inning for
That's
VSU.
not stability, in my opinion. And
I get why they do it. I get why they have bullpen games. I get why bullpen games happen.
Yep.
But I do find it a little bit absurd that you had a new pitcher every single inning. And consider this as well. Every pitcher who comes in, they get 2 minutes to warm up. So for every inning, that's near 20 extra minutes of game time of just guys warming up. So I'd imagine, working that game, that was brutal. Yeah.
But also, you're not beating good teams with 3 errors and only 1 run.
I agree.
Yeah,
that's what I was just about to say. I agree 100%.
Because what is it here? Yeah, offense can rally by scoring 1 run in the second. And then you got shut out the rest of the way. Yeah. But kind of a good thing that VSU kind of found their offense here in this second game, but unfortunately they lost this one 11-6. Florida Tech just batted around VSU entire game.
That game was crazy. VSU started out the game. VSU started out the game hot.
Yeah, Isaiah Pugh had the lead-off home run. Literally lead off. He's the first one up to bat. And I think it was the first pitch he saw, too.
Wow.
First pitch he saw went yard.
We had all the energy, all the momentum, and then Florida Tech just...
They said no. Yeah. They literally just said no. As they piled on the runs in the 5th and 7th innings, going yard twice. Both of them being 3-run home runs because... Why not?
The first 3-1 home run was crazy. I don't know who the player was, but he hit a straight bomb to right field. I'm like,
when I wrote the preview for Florida Tech, and God, it's killing me now. I can't remember his name. Right. There was a specific player that I noticed whenever looking at their stats was nuts. I think To be fair, like we had said in the last podcast, this is only through about 4 or 5 games. Right. But he was batting in the 900s.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude is a 100% beast. Like he has like 3 home runs on the season in like 4 or 5 games, 3 doubles. few singles. I mean, kids just
Hold on a second. I actually have to look this up. No, you're joking me. You are joking me, Austin. If you can go and start talking about this third game, I'm gonna try to find this.
It's either
I'm calling your bluff.
Check me because it's either Florida Tech or Union. I wrote the preview for both of them.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So there is a player on one of these teams that is absolutely raking right now. I'm talking. I couldn't. I remember when I put the article out, I had to put something about it in it because I was just like, I cannot leave this.
I was at the second game for Florida Tech, and I don't know the player, but when I heard the bat, I instantly knew. I'm like, oh, that's a home run.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for the ball because I'm having to record for my sports workshop class.
Right.
And I'm looking for the ball. I'm like, where's the ball? Last minute, I just see it going over the. I'm
looking at Union.
Oh my goodness, that was a straight bomb. I'm like, that could have been at least over 400 feet.
Probably. So. What are they? What bats are they get? What bats are they giving these guys? I
know they use metal bats.
Unironically, I have actually been watching like bat testing videos on Bat Bros on YouTube.
Yeah. Dude,
I've been watching more and more of those videos now that baseball season has started. Mm-hmm. And some of the bats that man is testing, he's hitting freaking 120 mile an hour off the bats. Some of these should not be legal. Some of these should not be legal for the sake of safety. I'm starting to wonder how many of these guys have access to those bats that are NCAA legal.
The juiced up bats, how they be doing in the MLB,
right?
So
even though bats in the MLB are wood, so I don't know. But what I found here for Florida Tech, their leading batter is Gabe Garrett. He's hitting 345.
No, this is okay. I got slugging percentage and batting average mixed up. This guy for Union is slugging a 750.
Huh?
Yeah. Cody Chomsland. It's a TJOMS LAND. Chomsland. Tomlin. Yeah.
Tomlin. Yeah.
Cody Tomlin.
My
guy's
goodness.
a stick for sure.
Slugging 750.
And then Elijah Ramsey's right under him, slugging 737.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I got nothing. I literally have nothing.
So definitely some firepower we're facing in these. I wouldn't call these losses major, huge losses.
Yeah. I mean, and again they are early season. So you kind of do have that little bit of a John there, that little bit of an excuse, but here's the thing. We're going to talk about these next two games.
Yeah.
Florida Tech, game 3 against Florida Tech, a 5-4 W in this one, where a stellar 6th inning brought home the 3 runs for Valdosta State to tie Florida Tech at 4. And then VSU closer Cam Habata shut down the Panthers, limiting them to 1 hit and kept them scoreless through the last 3 innings, 3 regular innings. And then in the 9th inning, after 2 walks and a strikeout from Howard, with the bases loaded, pinch hitter Jackson Webster brought home the walk-off run on a single to center field. Just a little bloop single. Just a little single to center field.
Hey,
you're going out the pinch hit. It's like don't do anything crazy. Just put the bat to ball.
Yep, it gets the job done.
That's all you got to do. Put the ball in play.
Job done right then and there. And kind of similar to that as we transition on to the series versus Union, the game 1 win in 10 innings, a complete hitting performance, not just from VSU but from Union as well. I gotta get my cap here. I gotta tip my cap here to the Bulldogs.
Oh yeah,
as both teams put a combined 21 base hits.
Wow,
VSU had 13 of them.
Wow, that was scrappy baseball from.
Oh man, you want scrappy baseball? That was that game in a nutshell. As VSU piled on the offense in the second and the last 4 innings. And I have written down here, we're just going to explain everything that happened here in the 10th. A 2-out walk from Marco Sevillano, who subbed into the game as a pinch runner. Drew a 4-ball walk. I believe we had a strikeout and a ground out. That set up Charlie Banks for a single, and then eventually a stolen base. So now we have Banks on second, Sevillano on third, and what ends it? A wild pitch.
Yeah.
Bringing home Sevillano, ending the game in 10 innings.
Of all things.
It
just be like that.
It pictured me, what was it? I think it was the Phillies and the Dodgers Dodgers game in the NLDS, and we talked about it in the sports writing where they had a wild pitch and it ended up winning the series for the Dodgers, and it kind of
I think I remember what you're talking about.
It reminded me of that, and I was like, wow, man.
In that situation, if you're on the bump, you gotta know. Just get it to the catcher.
Yep.
You can't put this ball past the catcher behind the umpire. You can't have a wild. That can't happen.
Well, to be fair, Union kind of struggled with wild pitches throughout the entire series.
Okay.
They had several wild pitches and pass balls.
Well, they have Vaseline on the baseball.
Maybe so. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But as we transition on to game 2 here, a 4-10 loss in 10 innings once again, where things were dangerously close for either team after 6 innings of. And this one was a pitcher's duel.
It was.
This one was a pitcher's duel. Union's Takuma Sato and VSU's Drake LaRoche just dueling. They were dueling it out. Both guys only let up, I believe, 1 run in their times on the mound. Both of them went 6 innings. I think Sato went an extra maybe 1 or 2/3 innings, whatever. But that was a pitching battle through those first 6 innings there. But then the Blazers would force extras in the bottom of 9th. Only for Habata to he got shelled.
I showed up.
That's what I can say.
I got to that game around that time, around the 8th inning, the end of the 8th inning,
right?
And honestly, from my opinion, and from baseballers like perspective,
right?
I think there's nothing that Cam could have done. He pitched a pretty good job. They were just putting the bat on the ball, and it landed in the right spots. I'm going to be honest with you. It was one of those just like, you hate to see it because he's not throwing balls. He's throwing good pitches. He's just putting it in the strike zone. You can't do anything else. But you're right. He did get shelled in the 10th inning.
6 earned runs in the 10th inning. That has got to be a statistical nightmare.
And if I'm not mistaken, we ended up going through another 2 pitchers.
I think so. I think so as well. We went through. I want to say we went through. I think we did Preston Weatherall in the 7th. In the 7th and 8th innings to set up Habata in the 9th, and then of course again poor kid got shelled.
Yeah, it's all right though.
All in the 10th inning as well, mind you. This happened all in the 10th inning. He is playing well. He does have. Well. I think he's actually 2-1. I think he might be 2-1 this season with the save. And now we're going to talk about game 3, 15-9 loss in 7 innings. This is the actual 7 inning game where it looked like VSU were going to run away with the 7 inning win.
They had 7 runs in the first 2 innings.
Yep, 7 runs in the first 2. And that was until the Blazers got shut out for the next 3 while Union just kept chipping away at the deficit. That reminds me a lot of what Florida Tech did to us in game 2 of that series. Union just chipping away at the lead. Single here, double here, another single here, more singles.
9 runs in the 6.
I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that a bit more when I talk about softball here. And then much like game 2 in the 10th inning, but only now in the 6th inning, the floodgates opened.
Yep.
Union scored 9.
And I think this. All right. There's nothing we can do on defense. You just got to limit errors. You know, there's nothing you can do about that on defense. But I think the main contributor to a lot of these losses is the difference between a 3-7 record and a 7-3 record.
Yep.
Right.
Is the amount of runners we leave on base.
Big time.
We talked about this before we started recording.
I got some tallies here. So this is just for this Union series. So the first game we left 11 runners on base. Second game we left 8, and the third game we left 10. Totaling 29 runners on base in 3 games. I mean, you're always going to have runners left on bases. You want to get the runners in scoring position scored.
Yeah,
you're always going to have people left on base, but 11, 8, and 10. That's a lot.
When you have nearly 30, you have nearly 30 runners stranded on the base paths in a 3-game series. You're not. I find it very difficult. You're going to win games like that.
And you think about it this way, that's 30 runs if you convert.
Yeah, that is potentially 30 runs right there. And that's 30 wins. 30 runs. I think
that's the snowball effect when it comes to this VSU baseball team. I think once they get into a situation where they can't stop the bleeding once it starts. When a team just starts pouring on runs, they're not able to stop it.
You got to be able to throw that Band-Aid on it, get it stopped.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help either. Sometimes especially in this Union series. Austin, I know you and I talked about this earlier as well. That game two against faced Takuma Sato, he had a curveball or an off-speed pitch or something that just froze VSU every single time he threw it. He maybe got one swing. And it missed. But every other time he threw that pitch, if it wasn't a ball, it was getting called a strike. So he froze us up for a while, and
that's why they say bullpens win championships.
Contributing to 13 or continuing to, I believe VSU had like 13 strikeouts in that game. VSU had 13 strikeouts of their own, not ones that they pitched. So, and a good number of those were caught looking as well. Which,
I was just about to ask.
Yeah,
how many were caught looking?
Which I like that this team is disciplined. I like that they're disciplined at the plate. But there are sometimes I watch this team and I watch these guys and I'm like, just swing, just swing the bat. Like three. I'm going to get some hate for this. I know, but even on 3-0, swing. Don't take swing.
If it's remotely close, you want to put a bat on the ball. At least foul it off. Foul it off if you don't like it.
I have two questions for y'all.
I like that they're patient, but sometimes they're a little too patient is what I'm saying. I think sometimes they're a little too patient.
So I have two questions for y'all.
Right.
One, is this offense good enough to carry this team?
I think so. Yeah, I genuinely do.
When
our bats are going, we can get them around quick. It's just it's really just leaving them like we've got to keep that momentum going. We can't stall out. So once we stall out and nobody can put a bat on the ball, that's when we start leaving runners on base. Because there's, you'll go through the beginning of your lineup, which I'm not saying that the latter end of the lineup's bad. I'm just saying that we go through the beginning of the lineup where you've got Pugh, I believe Banks is in there somewhere, which is two of our best hitters on the team right now and the most efficient. So they're getting on base. We got to have the rest of the lineup doing that same thing, moving them from scoring position.
Yep, just got to keep things moving. You don't need. It's one of these things where the slugging, like having the slugging is good. But sometimes just moving them along, just simple ABC baseball.
We want line drives, not home runs.
And I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt because I think they struggled to start the season last year. I think they did. They were like 2-8 to start off the season last year. So I'm gonna give them the benefit of it.
Yeah. To answer your question, 100%. I think that our offense could definitely propel us forwards this season. But like I said, we just got to keep the momentum going.
And my last question is this pitching staff too thin?
That's one of those questions you kind of want to avoid. You don't really know, to be honest. Honestly, from what we've seen so far, I don't want to say no, or I don't want to say yes yet. Right. I don't want to give up on them yet because, like you said, to be fair, last season we started 2-8.
Yeah, we started 2-8, and we saw how that ended.
Yeah,
and I'll say right now, currently VSU is 8th in the GSC for team ERA, posting at 8.3.
And pitching's a feel thing. It goes up and down. It's like shooting. It's like shooting a 3-ball. Some days you have it, some days you don't. And same thing with hitting your spots.
And I think the talent is there, pitching wise. Like, I seen this stat. They're third, and I think they're third in the GSE in strikeouts per 9.
Yep, third in the GSE in strikeouts per 9. They're averaging 9.5.
And I mean, the stuff is there, like the command, and I think the stuff is there, but the command and the consistency is not there yet.
Yeah, we definitely need to figure out, who's going to be this 3 or 4 man rotation because as I'm looking at the stats page right now on the VSU website, what they do here is that they put players in a darker background, denoting that they're not meeting the minimum requirement of at least 1 inning pitch per game. So there are only 2 pitchers who meet that qualification. That's Drake LaRoche and Garrett Moody. Those are the only 2 consistent starters that we have so far. Everybody else is grayed out. The most amount of I'll read it here. LaRoche has the most amount of innings pitched. He has 16. Garrett Moody has 13. Third is Cam Habata. He's a closer. He's a closer. He has pitched 8.2 innings, 8 2/3 innings. Next is Jacob Page, 5.2. So eventually, who's going to be that third or fourth starter?
Yeah,
who's going to be that third or fourth starter to carry the first 5 or 6 innings that isn't just LaRoche or Moody. You need a good rotation, especially
you got to give those guys a break.
Yeah, not just in this conference, but just in baseball in general. You need a good rotation.
And I think our pitchers, we have the swing and miss stuff. We don't have anybody that can have shutdown innings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, other than, Drake.
Yeah, Drake,
I think Drake LaRoche is definitely there. And one more thing I want to add here before I move on to the upcoming schedule, eventually on to softball. I got a little bit of an update from former host Chris Mercer. Guess who recently signed with the Jacksonville Sharks? Sammy Edwards.
Oh, wow.
Sammy Edwards now signed with the Jacksonville Sharks.
What league is that? Is that
I am trying to figure that out. I'm only just now
XFL reading. Or is that
No, this isn't this has got to be some smaller league. I'm trying to find
Sammy Edwards, that was our quarterback.
Indeed.
2 years? Was it 2 years or 1 year ago?
1 year ago.
1 year ago. Okay.
1 year ago. Yep. So Jacksonville Sharks. What league is this? This is the indoor football league.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the indoor football league.
Cool.
So Sammy Edwards, now has his shot at professional football.
Yeah,
I do kind of wish it was with the UFL or maybe the NFL, but I mean also not every player who comes out of college is going to go pro.
Yeah.
But at the same time, to go pro in the IFL, Sammy Edwards, congratulations to you, man. For baseball, we're going to wrap things up here. We have a single game against Georgia Southwestern on February 17th, which will have passed by the time this episode comes out. Then a 3-game series at Trevecca Nazarene in Nashville from February 20th to the 21st. The Blazers will be back at home to face Alabama Huntsville on February 27th and 28th.
Home run.
Now we're going to switch things on over to our second team running the bases and on the diamond. Blazers softball starting off a bit better than their baseball counterparts so far on the account of one more win, where the softball team is 4-6 in their first 10 games, picking up a couple of impressive wins at the Old Coast Classic, but have experienced quite the early season struggles in Gulf Shores and in North Georgia. 4 of their 6 losses have been by 4 or fewer runs. And a consistent theme that I've seen so far with this softball team is that they are screaming hot to start. They are red hot to start, and then cool off like they're being dunked in liquid nitrogen. That's how quickly they cool off sometimes. So to go over the most recent games, I'll start with the 2-game series against number 6 in the nation, North Georgia. They lost that one 0-2. In game 1, it was a 14-6 loss in 5 innings after a home run by Sailor McNearney. North Georgia decided to enact death by 1,000 singles. They had 14 hits.
Goodness.
14 base hits, and only 4 of those went for extra bases. Wow. Only 4 of those went for either a double or a triple. Triple. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just having a moment here today. Only 4 of those hits went for extra bases. So 10 singles. So literally death by 1,000 singles.
Pretty much.
From this Nighthawks team. 13 runs in the first 3 innings for the Nighthawks sealed the victory. Torrey Wofford was saddled with the loss. For the second game, a 8-17 loss in 6 innings. A bit of a better offensive performance here after an early 3-run lead by VSU in the first inning, which came off a 3-run home run by Alyssa Valad. UNG stacked 5 runs on VSU thanks to their own 3-run home run, because why not? Then VSU retook the lead 7-5 in the second. This is the second inning, mind you, that I'm talking here. Then North Georgia got it back 8-7 in the third. 11-7 UNG in the 5th. Then the Nighthawks sent everyone home with a 6-run 6th inning winning via the run rule.
Wow.
It's just oof.
I didn't realize there was a run rule in collegiate sports.
Yeah, there's a run rule both in baseball and softball.
Wow.
Actually. So the next series I'm going to go on to talk about is the Old Coast Classic, where VSU goes 3-1 in those games. I mentioned earlier a couple of impressive wins. First one here, I want to talk about a 5-4 win in 11 innings against Flagler. I want to say this first. This is the longest game in all of Division II this season by innings played so far.
Jeez.
11 innings is the longest game in Division II softball this season. And it ended 5-4. And it ended 5-4. Now, mind you, at the end of the regulation 7 innings, it was only 2-2. It was only 2-2 at the end of 7. So both teams went scoreless through the 8th, 9th, and 10th, which brings us to the top of the 11th. VSU gets a 1-out walk, Valad doubles to right, and then a 2 RBI double from Charlotte Phillips makes it 4-2 VSU. Rachel Lee gets an RBI single to make it 5-2 VSU, and then Flagler at the bottom of the 11th. They're knocking on the door. They're knocking on the door to potentially tie it, send us to the 12th inning, or walk it off on their field. This is in St. Augustine, by the way. So Flagler gets a bases loaded RBI single, and then bases loaded RBI single. Now, mind you, there are 2 outs. There's 2 outs at this moment. So single, it's a deep single too. Deep single to center field, to center right field. So that brings home 1 run to make it I think at this point another run was scored previously. So now it's 5-4, and then in comes a second runner trying to tie the game with 2 outs, gunned down by Madison Van Allen to seal the VSU win, and Barfield picks up the pitching win. It's just one of those moments where I think you do have to be kind of conscious of the outs, because you brought home 1 run to make it 5-4. I don't know if the runner probably thought she could make it there, but she was out by at least 6 feet.
Wow.
She was out by at least 6 feet.
Jesus.
But it also goes to show, I mean, Van Allen has an arm. Yeah. Van Allen has a freaking arm from center field to gun down that second runner coming in from third.
Oh yeah.
So definitely a good way to pick up the win there. And another impressive win against number 20 St. Leo, a 5-4 victory. VSU tallied an early 3-0 lead off of a Charlotte Phillips steal and an offline throw, which eventually brought home Sailor McNearney. And then Alyssa Velad, once again, I keep mentioning her name, notched an RBI double followed by an RBI single from Jamie Prandine. 2 more runs from the Blazers in the 4th gave enough of a cushion, even after a 2-run home run from St. Leo in the 5th, to give VSU their 2nd straight win and their first win against a ranked opponent this season. They've played a couple ranked opponents in St. Leo, in North Georgia, in Rogers State earlier in the season. I say earlier in the season as if there hasn't been only like 2 to 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
It's kind of a funny thing to say right now. Madison Van Allen gets the win in this one, and Wofford with the save, which only just reminded me that Madison Van Allen is a 2-way player. That only just reminded me that she's a pitcher, and she can also play in the outfield.
Yep.
And she can also play in the outfield as well noted by the fact that, she had the game-winning out. She made the game-winning out from center field to win it against Flagler, and now she picked up a pitching win against St. Leo. Then against Shawan, this is the best offense from VSU this season so far, winning 8-2, where the Hawks scored first off a passed ball, bringing home a runner from third. Then VSU said, okay, I raise your 1 with 5. 5 runs in the bottom of the 1st. An RBI single from Charlotte Phillips, RBI single from Alyssa Valad, and a 3 RBI triple from Carly Bogart, the 3rd triple of the season for VSU. And then 3 more runs from the Blazers in the 3rd and 4th innings combined, plus 4 straight shutout innings by Madison Van Allen and Tori Wofford earned the W in that one. And then game 4 in the Old Coast Classic against number 20 St. Leo. They lost that one 5-1. Just consistent scoring from St. Leo from the 3rd to the 6th innings got the Lions to win. Kaylin Cook for VSU homered in the 2nd, but no other runs scored for VSU. So VSU was hot through the first 3 games, and then, game 4 is the last game of the series. I guess you just kind of have one of those.
It's definitely been a roller coaster for this softball team. Really, I think 4 of their 6 losses were by 4 runs or fewer.
Yeah, 4 runs or fewer. So it's not like these games are getting out of hand like it was with baseball. Blown out.
And also, one thing I want to add is if you're, beginning of the season, if you're beating teams that are ranked, you should be looking forward or looking on the up and up. You're not going to be sad about beating a number 20 ranked team. I mean, you have to look forward on that and say, well, hey guys, we can beat these teams. We just have to play like
this is not a rebuilding team. I think they're competitive. They're definitely competitive.
This is a team that can absolutely be competitive, especially
they're just
with all the
not
names they brought
finishing.
back.
Yeah,
they're just not finishing.
Same thing with women's basketball. Just got to trust the process. Keep doing what you're doing. One game at a time.
You have early season struggles, but you manage to fight. You manage to fight your way through it. I mean, honestly, that's been the case. Ansley said it several times. That's kind of just been the case with every Blazers sport we've had this year, honestly, because soccer had their early season struggles. Went on their winning 5 of their last 6 games, just barely missed the GSC tournament, like by a game or by tiebreaker. They missed it via tiebreaker. Football, we've documented very well. You've documented very well about the struggles and the strife through from football early in the season. Men's and women's basketball, volleyball for a while, they were not good to start. They were not good to start their season. I think they were 1-9. Volleyball was 1-9 to start their season. Made the GSC tournament anyway. Had several convincing games against some top ranked teams. So that just kind of seems to be the theme of VSU athletics this year. Yeah. Of you'll take your licks early for later success. Yep. You'll take your licks early for later success. Now that obviously it's a little bit hard to project with games like baseball and softball with sports like these where literally any just crazy wild thing can happen. But also at the same time, that kind of just speaks for any sport, really. You could have weird moments, but hopefully the trend stays for the rest of it, especially through baseball and softball. As softball has a 3-game series against Trevecca Nazarene from February 21st to the 22nd, and then a 3-game series against Alabama Huntsville. Their first home series of the year against the Huntsville Chargers on February. That's February 28th. And
finally,
March 1st. Yes, finally. My goodness. I want to go. I want to go watch some Blazers softball. I don't know about y'all.
Oh yeah.
And one more note I want to add here. Coach Becerra. There's also another thing I was going to mention. Coach Becerra loves to challenge his teams early on. He loves to give them challenges early on. It's probably why, and also it's probably good on the tournament organizers who organize like the Old Coast Classic and the Gulf Shores Invitational to bring on ranked teams, like top 25 ranked teams in the country, for VSU to have that early experience as to see like this is what the best softball in the country looks like. Yeah. This is what some of the best teams in the country look like. If you can face off, you can hang against some of the best teams in the country, then you'll be fine. Then you'll be fine facing off against the conference, against the GSC, which I'll get to in just a second here. But actually, I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. We already have 4 10-win teams in the GSC this year. Auburn, Montgomery, Montevallo, West Florida, and Huntsville. This conference could legitimately be stacked this year.
Yeah.
Like we could see 4 teams for the South region. Again, this is early projections, early in the season, but the fact that we already have 4 10-win teams in this conference, I mean, we already knew we already knew that Montgomery and West Florida were going to be good. They're top 25 in the nation, both of them. But Montevallo and UAH as well, both of them with over 10 wins. And I also read Trevecca's undefeated, but they're 4-0, so asterisk. Yeah. But the fact that we already have 4 10-win teams through 3 weeks, dude, this conference could actually be legitimately loaded.
Yeah.
So now I minorly kind of retract my previous statement saying, oh, you'll be fine. You guys will be fine in the conference playing some of the best teams in the nation. Well, we kind of have some of the best teams in the nation in our GSC. Yeah. So, but we'll see how the rest of the season plays out there. So that covers our major set of Blazer athletics, our major set of Blazer sports. If you have stuck with us for this long, thank you. But continue to stick on here as we have one more thing we want to talk about here that I mentioned during the basketball section that I want to touch on here. So this season, both GSC basketball tournaments are shifting the sites, the host sites for the games. The quarterfinal rounds will remain hosted by the top 4 seeds. So you get a top 4 seed, you host the quarterfinal round. Originally that was Super Tuesday, but now it's going to be Super Monday. That does not have the same ring to it. I hate that. Ew. But now, instead of the semifinal and championship rounds being at a neutral site, which was at the Pete Hanna Center in Birmingham, Alabama, on the campus of Samford University, the top seed in each matchup will host a game. Now, basketball now joins one of the few GSC sports that don't have a neutral site for their tournaments, joining volleyball and technically cross country because they're on a rotation system. So do you guys think this is a better system competitively than having it than just having the semifinal championship games at a neutral site? I'll go ahead and give my take on this. As someone who went to Birmingham last year, I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate this purely because of the travel that's going to be needed for just one game. Mm-hmm. Mind you, we have teams in this conference in Mississippi and Georgia. Mississippi and Georgia in the same conference, unless you're like the SEC and you got like money to do like flights across states.
Yeah.
12-hour bus rides are not fun.
Yeah.
So the fact that there's a chance for our women's basketball team to be traveling to Cleveland, Mississippi to face Delta State for the GSC quarterfinal game, just one game, mind you. It's not like they're staying there for two games. Mm-hmm. No, they're only there for one game, and then they likely come back to Valdosta only to leave again as a lower seed. I just think for the lower seeds, this kind of screws you over a little bit if you make it to the semifinal of the championship round, because now you're traveling every single game.
Yeah.
You're traveling for every game, some of which have like just a few days of turnaround. Like as soon as the game's over, you're on the bus heading to the next destination or heading back to your home arena to regroup, and then you're out again. And if you play in the semifinal and the championship, you're now going from wherever the semifinal is played to where the championship is played. It's not at the same place.
Yeah.
Which I think for the sake of travel kind of sucks. Kind of sucks for these teams who are on the bottom four seeds, to be on the road, to be, tired from all that. It just kind of feeds in a little more to the like home court advantage. That's just going to make it easier for those top four teams to just win at home.
That's kind of what I was going to ask you. Do you think that they've done it more thinking about the fans of the teams that are hosting rather,
so.
You know what I mean? Because like I said, they did that for college football, like the playoffs hosting, the higher seed host the first playoff game.
Yep.
And it's been absolutely great for just the everyday non-biased fan. Yeah. Now, obviously, we want Valdosta State to be champions.
Yeah, we would want. Obviously, every team will want to host. You guys will want to host because that's extra ticket revenue. That's extra time. That's extra time. That's extra time on air. Not that I'm really like, not that these terms that you would easily see with Division I can easily translate to Division II because things are a lot more muddied here.
Yeah.
But still, my point still kind of stands there. I just think for the sake of now here's the thing though. I kind of hate it as a fan, but as on the logistical side, I can understand it. Yeah. I can understand it a little more because as someone who went to Birmingham last year, the hotels that we stayed in were really nice, but were probably super expensive. Were probably stupidly expensive. And then having to figure out the logistics of, everyone having to share a court, having to share like one or two courts for practice. Now, mind you, there are 8 teams total in the semifinal round. So you have 8 teams, both men's and women's, so 4 each, going to the same place. Going to the same place. And while it definitely does look kind of better on paper to just put everyone in one hub and just have 2 games there, trying to figure out like practice times and all that, I'd imagine was a headbanger. That probably caused people to bang their heads against their desks. So for that, I can understand it. But I do think we're going to have a situation like what we have with volleyball, where if the 1 seed hosts the entire way, teams are more comfortable playing at home. And as we've seen on both sides of the basketball, teams are significantly better playing at home. Yeah. So it kind of just takes away like a good chance for these teams who do poorly on the road. Even though they're conference tournament teams, no one can play on the road this year. So why should we really expect any team who has a poor road record to go on the road and win? Really? I mean, of course, again, anything could happen, but you're just kind of. I'm not saying you're giving wins, but you're making it more favorable for these home teams to win.
I agree with
to eventually
that.
just like sweep through the entire tournament because they played at home. They have that home court advantage, if you will. Because again, you know, because let's just say Valdosta State makes it to the championship. We're hosting the GSC tournament championship game, and we're facing Delta State. How many people from Delta State are going to make it over here?
Not
really?
that many.
That's a 12-hour drive. I mean, Delta will bring a few. They brought a couple of people the last time we played them here in Titletown, but are they really going to make that trip all the way out here?
Not the majority of the people that
compared to going to Birmingham. Now, obviously, not everyone has the means to go to Birmingham, so crowds can kind of seem a little lesser. But that's my take on it. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
See, I grew up, you know, of course, with college basketball and college football, especially in the, the conference tournaments for college basketball, especially, you know, watching the SEC, Big Ten, Big East, ACC. They've always had.
You said Big East, dude. I don't know if the kids. I don't know if the kids in the audience know what you're talking about, man. That goes way back.
Hey, man, the Big East in the late 2000s and the early 2010s, they were cinema. Those Big East tournaments,
that's ball knowledge.
absolute
right
cinema. But yeah, I grew up on just watching the neutral site, you know, conference tournament games. You see, when the Big East, they usually play in MSG, and with the SEC, one time they were playing in Atlanta. Then now I think they're playing in Nashville, and I'm so used to that.
Right.
So it kind of irks me that they're having to go to, you know, the home site games and everything. I hate it. And you know, we talked about it for volleyball.
Right.
You know, we talked about it with West Florida. They get the obvious advantage. And of course, we seen West Florida won the GSC tournament.
They won the GSC tournament.
And they hosted. So I'm mad, but at the same time, I'm not mad because I know how good Valdosta State is good at home, especially the men's team.
Yeah, a lot of teams are good at home. So a lot of those teams are going to be vying to get that top 4 seed to play at home. I just think again, it kind of disenfranchises those bottom 4 seeds to have to travel and potentially like stay on the road for an entire week, potentially depending on where these games are played. So that could be an absolute headache.
I don't know how the money situation is for, you know, GSC and all the other Division II teams in the GSC, but they should make it to where how they do in, you know, D1, make it to where, you know, the men's, they have a neutral site game at one place, and then the women's they have a different neutral site at a different place to make it easier. But like I said, I don't know how that works. You know, I know that's going to cost money, but it'll make it easier for everybody in the GSC.
Yeah. I just feel like it's better at a neutral site because at least to me, again, that kind of feel for the game, it feels a bit more important. It feels a bit more important not being somewhere you've already been for that semifinal and championship game. And also, I mean, personally for me, I'm biased because, you know, I had my best moments in Birmingham calling games. So, I mean, that's just me. Austin, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I just agree with you on it. I think it's you put those 4 lower seeds at a disadvantage. It's just not right. It's just not what you want, but it gives you more of an incentive to try to get to that top seed.
Yep.
You know,
that is true.
I feel like these teams are going to fight for it. You know, and the rightfully deserved will get it.
They're definitely rewarding. They're definitely rewarding the regular season. Like they're basically telling you need to work harder in the regular season, in order for you to host games. And I mean, that's cool and all, but again, I grew up on, you know, the neutral site conference tournaments,
right?
So that's really what I want to see. Like I said, I hate it for the lower seeds.
Yep.
To have to go to Valdosta or
go down to Pensacola, go all the way up to Nashville or to Jackson, Tennessee.
Now these
are rough.
So say VSU makes a heck of a run, or say, we do get it one of those top seeds.
Right.
I see it as a very good community event. I see it as a very good thing to kind of bring everybody, hey, we're hosting. We need y'all to pack it out. We need y'all to be rowdy. We need y'all to be there. You know what I mean? So that for those people who do host, I think it's a good incentive to, get people out and, just enjoy good sports. But
last year's tournament, we hosted the first round against Union. The place was rocking. A couple of years, 2 years ago, for the women's basketball team on their 30 win season, that Super Tuesday quarterfinal game against West Georgia, top 10 VSU experiences I've had here in my 4 years. That was amazing. So definitely for the home teams, there's a massive incentive to that.
But it also tests our toughness, especially with teams like us, where we struggle on the road.
A lot of teams are struggling on the road, honestly.
Yeah,
we struggle on the road big time.
Yeah.
So it'll test our toughness to go down to Mississippi or Tennessee and everything and go on the road and win in the tournament.
Yeah.
It'll be a feel good moment for us, and it'll give us momentum to finish off and hopefully potentially make the GSC tournament final. So
I mean, I'm never going to complain calling a playoff game.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if I gotta go all the way to Mississippi for just one game, I might have a fit. I ain't gonna lie, I might have a fit. But hey, at least we don't have buys in our tournament like volleyball. Y'all need to fix that. I'm still going to hound this conference on that. Fix the volleyball bracket. Stop with the buys. My God, I hate it. I hate it so much. I'm going to complain about that even after I graduate. I'm going to complain about it. Even if VSU gets the 1 seed and we host and we win, I'm still going to be like, this is still a broken system. Y'all need to change it.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
I will gladly go on record and say that y'all need to fix that. So with that being said, we're going to wrap things up here. I just want to say for one more thing, episodes are again available all semester on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, and Audacity, with a full archive available on our website at sites.google.com/view/the Inferno podcast. Also be sure to follow us on Instagram so you never miss an update, never miss an episode. So again, for Ansley, Austin, Dionte, and I, thank you so much for tuning in to the VSU Sports Podcast by the students about the Blazers for Blazer Nation. And if you can't take the heat, what makes you think you can survive the Inferno? Hey, Craig, say something to the people.
Bye, Felicia.